Susan. I put on the Rabun Half Marathon. It occurred to me that I won't be able to do a race day briefing like I usually do every year. Typically standing in the back of some person's pickup truck, speaking to a crowd, which we're obviously not allowed to have right now. So I figured that I would do a race day video, and I never do video. I hate being in front of the camera. It's a little weird, but here we are. So the point of this video is to essentially say the same thing that I would say, excuse me, on race day, and maybe a little extra because of the circumstances. So I want to just first say that information is changing all of the time. I still don't have a complete blessing from the Forest Service. I mean, I've submitted a social distancing plan. I've been back and forth for a while now, trying to figure out if this is going to happen. And quite frankly, it's still possible that the Forest Service is going to be like, you know what, don't do it. So stand by for that. And they may tell me that the week of the race. So it just, be prepared for that. I don't want to set any false expectations. Having said that, what I typically do from the back of someone's tailgate is I have a punch list of things that I usually like to tell people as we gather in the middle of the forest. And I forget most of those things because, like y'all, I'm very excited for you to be present and in a beautiful place that I love sharing with runners. And I remind people that to follow the arrows. Nice, big, large, contrasting arrows that tell you which way to go. There is no course flagging. It's just arrows. I moved to using signage over flagging in an effort to make my races more sustainable. Course flagging ends up being a detractor from your photographs in some cases, and it's single use only, and I'd much rather have something I can use year after year. So follow the arrows. There aren't confidence markers. Where there's a weird part in the trail, there's going to be a sign. So don't stress over it if you haven't seen a sign in a long time. Just keep going straight. There's nowhere else to go. I want to certainly thank our volunteers. Like y'all, this is a weird time, and it's a weird time to gather volunteers as well. The health and safety of every person is absolutely paramount in putting on this race. I need coffee. There we go. Coffee makes things better. So, without volunteers, events like this simply wouldn't happen. It does not matter how big the event is, help is required, right? So, one of the reasons why we're able to continue, hopefully, with this race is because the event is small. It's an intimate event. We literally show up in the middle of nowhere, and we race. And then we hang out in the middle of nowhere. So because of that, volume of runners has to be kept low. And I do see that the Forest Service considers this to be a test case. So if you are running, if you're volunteering, you're watching this, please know that the eyes of the Forest Service will be upon you on race day. Make sure that we are abiding by social distancing rules. We are following guidelines that I've submitted to them, which are in line with the CDC's requirements. So, what guidelines? So keep that in mind. I assume that every single person that you encounter on race day who isn't affiliated with the race, who's not wearing a bib and not standing behind a table, I assume they're with the Forest Service. So keep that in mind. I'm going to email you some things about processes. I don't want to go over them in this video because it's going to be long enough anyway. I already rambled. So look for a final email the week of the race, earlier in the week of the race. because I come up here. Right now I am where I stay when I do the Rabun Half Marathon and I come to course. And I don't have cell reception here, so you'll be getting an email probably Monday before the event that will have all of the processes that we're going to follow. Keep in mind that it's stuff that you've been doing anyway, face coverings and this is for volunteers, especially for volunteers, face coverings, gloves when you're handling food, constant sanitation. These are just things that the CDC and local authorities have told us to do anyway. So in that aspect, the race isn't really doing anything different. We're just extending what society wants us to do right now into our trail running environment. Obviously, safety and health is top priority. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I'm really not sure, maybe you've got elderly folks at home, maybe you're in that age bracket, maybe you've got immunocompromised, whatever. Maybe you just don't feel comfortable with it. It's all good. I never want anyone to have to decide between running a race and the health of you and your family. Like, that's just not, don't do it. Just come run next year, okay? No big deal. Some of you have approached me about not running because of the social aspect. Let's face it, the waves start, single runner, every 2 minutes. Now, I've noticed that the wait list has grown a little bit because, well, let's face it, I'm the only sanctioned event in town right now. So, I'm in a unique position. So, having said that, if the wait list grows, I may move to a single runner starting on the minute, which is fine. I need to avoid having people starting and finishing at the same time, because yours truly is going to be handling the start and the finish. I do not want to have to send a runner off as I am getting a runner in. It's just that's just too much for me. So, there are some social changes, and because we're not starting in a general start en masse uphill Ridge Road, we're doing single runner only. Some of these social changes may not sit well with some of you, and that's okay. If you don't want to run because you're going to miss the social aspect of it, I totally get that. You've got an entry next year, not a problem. I do want to speak to some of the challenges, which could be fun, in doing a wave start. So if I'm starting every runner on the minute or every other minute, I'm doing this based off of their target time, your target time. Keep in mind, I only need an order. I don't care about your actual projected time. I really don't. So I just need to get an order of roughly whoever's fastest goes first, whoever's slowest goes last, because I want to minimize overtaking situations on the trail. Enhances our social distance. However, it doesn't, it really brings home that you are racing the clock. So if you are one of the top people and you are planning on racing, even if you're not, you're planning on racing, your ability to pace off of the person in front of you is just hopefully gone, because that's my goal. But it makes it harder mentally. So you are absolutely racing the clock. You have no idea sometimes how far back the runner behind you is. You have no idea how far up the runner ahead of you is. So it makes pacing really interesting. And I'm interested to see how some of our faster runners kind of perform under that weird pressure. So it could be a fun challenge. Having said that, those of you who aren't into racing and you're more into the social aspect of trail running, you may show up to a race like this and looking forward to seeing your friends in the trail running community, looking forward to meeting new people in the trail running community. And this year's race is not really gonna be conducive to that. You may feel uncomfortable being on a trail by yourself, and I get that. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable to run this race. But it is an interesting challenge for you, because if you are accustomed to running with friends in trails, especially wilderness trails like these, then your sense of security, general security, is going to be pushed in this race. And I encourage you to let that challenge you, to let that help you grow as a runner, hiker, trail user. Because I want you to feel secure in your aloneness in the mountains here on the Rabun course. You are never that far from anybody. There's always going to be someone a minute or two ahead of you or a minute or two behind you. So use it as an opportunity to positively challenge you. Having said that, if it's still too much, don't worry about it. Just come next year, okay? Like I said, I don't want anyone to feel that they have to do something they're uncomfortable with. So, yeah. Let's talk about course conditions. Back to what I would normally say on the bed of a truck. Course conditions. Today is May 26th, and I was on the course yesterday, Memorial Day, and things are a bit soggy. So, expect to get your feet wet. I have no idea what the weather's going to be like going into the week of the race, but if it rains at all, there are places that are going to stay a little wet and soggy. Be prepared to get muddy. Enjoy the mud, okay? First of all, some of you haven't been on trails since March, and some of you, haven't run a race since March. And I mean, I really want you to savor this, and that includes stomping through the mud. People pay a lot of money to have mud rubbed on them, and their views are not nearly as nice as the ones that you're going to get on race day. So enjoy that, but be prepared for it, right? So make sure you bring a change of clothes and shoes and such, so that you can change out of it. Because it had rained when I went on the course, I remembered very quickly that those 14 footbridges along the Bartram, they will try to murder you when they're wet. They're beautiful, but they can be dangerous. So slow down, treat them like ice. If there's a handrail, use it. Basically walk like an old person across the bridge. I don't need anybody getting injured this year, okay? I've got it insured, but I don't, please, y'all, be careful, be safe. It just can't happen. Like I said, the Forest Service is going to be watching this really closely. Expect anyone not wearing a bib, not standing behind an aid station table or at a marshal location, expect them to be with the Forest Service. Don't do anything silly. Don't, be careful. Just but if the course is wet, backside of Rabun is going to be slippery as it always is. The funny thing is that even if the course is dry, the backside of Rabun will still be as slippery as it always is. It just won't be wet. So we love it, we hate it, we love to hate it, we hate to love it. It's just one of the features of the course. Let's see, what else do I usually talk about race day? We got signage. See, I'm doing the same thing that I would do on the back of the truck. Oh yeah. So, this year, and I am talking to the fast dudes who are signed up to race, okay? I'm talking to you. The current course record for men was set in 2015. That needs to go, all right? I challenge you. You don't get anything but a smile, because I can't do high fives and hugs at the finish line like usual, which is going to be weird, by the way. But you will get kudos and mentioned online and social media, and that is going to be wonderful. I need that course record to go away. Right now, the women's course record has been way more exciting than the men's side, all right? We've got fast women who show up every year, and almost every year it's been dropped just a little bit, and it's awesome. I love it. But that 2015 men's record, it's got to go. Make it go, please. 5 years. 5 years is too long. 5 years is too long. So there's a challenge, dudes. There's a challenge. Let's see. Back to things I talked about. Yeah. Volunteers. In an effort to keep volunteers safer this year, as well as runners, and I just want to give you background, you know, so that I try and be open and transparent with everybody. But from a volunteering perspective, only members of the same household will be at any given point, you know, any given station. So this means that as runners, when you get to the Three Forks aid station at mile 8.5, somewhere in there, there's going to be one person there, unless an entire family wants to work that station. There's going to be one person there. So please be patient. Same thing with marshal locations, there's just going to be one person. Same thing with the finish area, there's going to be one person. So I'm trying to reduce volunteer to volunteer interactions as well as volunteer runner interactions. I will speak more to the process of how you will take aid, how you will get your bib in an email. I don't want to clutter this video with that, but do know that there will be a process that I hope everyone follows in order to keep us all, you know, COVID free. I cannot stress how lucky we are. If this happens, it looks like it's going to happen. I cannot stress how lucky we are to be able to have an actual, unpostponed, not canceled trail race. Like, we're very lucky. Like, I keep saying it because it's like I'm also affirming that to myself. Like, oh my gosh, we're really lucky to be doing this. Everything around us has been canceled. Races that we've looked forward to for months, you know, have been postponed, sometimes more than once. And for us to be able to still do the Rabun Half as scheduled is absolutely phenomenal. Please do not let this escape you. As you get your race day stuff ready, as you're filling up your gas tank and packing all your snacks for the day, unfortunately will need to be a day trip. You know, as you're just getting everything ready to come race, don't let this escape you. Remember that we're lucky. We are so lucky, okay? Also, some of you, because you haven't raced since March, okay, I need hot coffee now. Because you haven't raced since March, you might feel like you're a little out of practice. Some of you, I'm lucky. I don't live in the city, so my trail practice has been pretty much uninterrupted. But some of you who come from the city, you may not have been allowed to really do much outside. You may have been on a treadmill since March. Or you may have just been on urban greenways or paved neighborhoods. You know, it's just, I want you to, you know, just, you might be thinking, whoa, I'm going to run a mountain trail here in 2 weeks. That's going to be vastly different than what I've been doing for the last several months. I really want you to be patient with yourself, okay? Everybody's in the same boat. You may not have your best race day performance. It's okay. Be patient with yourself. Please enjoy the course. Just enjoy being on a mountain trail, something that we haven't been able to do as a community in months. So enjoy it. Be patient with yourself, okay? everybody has their own 4-hour cutoff. So just like everyone has their own start time, you've got your 4-hour cutoff based off of that start time. If you happen to be a couple minutes later because you stopped to take pictures at Holcomb Creek Falls, that's fine. You know, if it took you a little longer to get up a hill, that's fine. You know, just be patient with yourself. Yes, there's a clock. Unless you're racing it, just be patient with yourself. Please be patient with others too. So because of the seated starts, some of you might not be showing up to the course until later. And I'm probably going to have the event itself start at 6:40. And then we'll have runners every minute or two. I've not decided which. Stand by for that. As the faster runners start up Hill Ridge Road, the lower seated runners might be approaching the course in their vehicles. Please, if you're in your vehicle, take your time, especially after you see this big yellow caution. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's a big yellow sign that says caution runners ahead. And when you go from paved to gravel on Hill Ridge Road and you see that sign, that's where you should slow down, because you are going to meet people on foot coming your way. When you see a runner, if you're in a vehicle, when you see a runner, please just stop. Just stop. I don't want people sucking in dust and dirt. I don't want runners feeling like they're going to get run off a mountain or squashed by a car. Please feel free to cheer them on. Spectating is going to be so strange this year. I can't encourage spectating this year. And it's one of my favorite parts of the race. But if you're in a car and there's a runner charging at you uphill, you're going to be going downhill, cheer them on safely. You know, we're gonna need all the encouragement we can give each other when we see each other. But wait for them to pass and then continue on. If you feel like you're running behind, because after you see that yellow sign, I'm telling you to slow down, and you're like, oh, but I'm gonna miss my start time, I'm gonna miss my start time. No, you're not. I'm not. Just do your best, get there. We're all going to be patient with each other on race day because it's going to be something different. Follow what the volunteer, there's going to be someone parking you. Stay to the right, park where that volunteer tells you to park. If that volunteer is somehow engaged in something else, just park behind as far over as you can. Park behind the car who's already parked in front of you, okay? Always stay to the right. We can't have traffic blocked. If you are a runner and you start, you're seated earlier than others, expect to see traffic coming at you as they enter the course. Now, ideally, people will show up early in their cars, but then wait in their cars before they check in. Because I don't really want you checking in until it's just before time for your race to start. Okay? About the race start and cutoff. If you start at 7 o'clock, your personal cutoff is 11 o'clock. If you start at 7:15, your personal cutoff is 11:15. Do you get the idea? So everybody has their own individual cutoff. It's going to be a little weird. Like I said, be patient with yourself. If you need to take a little extra time, please do that. I don't want anyone having heart attacks on the course. I need you all to be safe. I cannot stress that. I have to sneeze. Of course, I'm recording a video and I have to sneeze. I'm holding cough. Above all, I want you to be safe. Don't do anything silly, okay? This is the wrong year to do silly things. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I think that is about it. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm trying not to get too excited just in case the Forest Service tells me that we gotta shut it down, but, I plan on, if you're on the wait list, I plan on processing it probably the end of next week, no, end of this week, I'm sorry. Oh, it's getting close, isn't it? Yeah, the end of this week, so if you're on it now, and you have not read, my latest communication to runners, go to Ultra Sign Up, click the link near the top, go to Facebook, click the announcement that leads you to a Google document. There's a lot of information this year, and it seems like a lot of information for such a tiny little event, but it's just sort of where we are in today's environment. So I've overthought, and I've thought, and I've overthought, and I've drafted, and I've written, and I've corrected, and there's just a lot more thinking involved in this year's race. So I want you all to treat it kind of as seriously as I am in that respect. There are going to be different procedures, and if you do not know any of what my changes are, then please go read what I've already sent out to runners, just so that you can get familiar with them. As I said, any information that I send out after this video, go with that. That's the newest. But assuming we have the race, my goal is really simple for y'all. I really just want you to have a good, fun time trail running. The course is beautiful. You get to summit Rabun Bald. You get to see waterfalls. You get pristine single track. There's probably about 9.5 miles of single track. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And because we haven't done trail racing in so long, and sometimes group runs. I haven't done a run like Kahuta's group run in months, or trail maintenance, and it's like, it's kind of weird. So it helps us realize how fortunate we are to be in this place at this time. And that's really my goal for y'all, is assuming that the race continues, and the National Forest is good, or the Forest Service is good. I really just want you to enjoy being where you are, and make some good trail running memories. And hopefully next year we'll be back to normal, where we can have spectating, and we don't have to restrict our time at the top of Rabun Tower, and we don't have to be so weird at taking aid, so just bear all of that in mind. Meanwhile, I'll see y'all on race day. I'm excited. Bye, guys.